Hello friends, I'm Sahil Nakhwa. So today we are going to learn about the atmosphere. As we know that the earth is surrounded by the atmosphere by all sides. So one of the main components of the earth's interdependent physical systems is the atmosphere. An atmosphere is made up of the layers of the gases surrounding a planet or a celestial body. Earth's atmosphere is composed of about 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% other gases. But do you know that there are 5 layers in the atmosphere? The first layer is the troposphere. The troposphere is the lowest layer of the atmosphere of the Earth. It contains of 75% of the total mass of the planetary atmosphere and 99% of the total mass of the water vapor and aerosols, and is where most of the weather phenomena occur. From the planetary surface of the earth, the average height of the troposphere is 18 km, that is 11 miles, 59,000 feet in the tropics, 17 kilometers, 11 mile, 56,000 feet in the middle latitudes, and 6 km, 3.7 miles, 20,000 feet in the high latitudes of the polar region in winter. Thus, the average height of the troposphere is 13 km. So this is a picture of the troposphere clicked by NASA. A picture of the Earth's troposphere with its different cloud types of low to high altitude casting shadows. Sunlight is reflected off the ocean after it was filtered into a reddish light by passing through much of the troposphere at sunset. So friends, this is a picture of the Earth's troposphere, that is the first layer of the atmosphere. Now, we all know that the Earth also has an umbrella. That umbrella is known as the ozone layer. The ozone layer acts as an umbrella that protect us from the UV rays of the sun. The ozone layer or the ozone shield is a region of the Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation. It contains a high concentration of ozone O3 in relation to the other parts of the atmosphere. Although still small in relation to the other gases in the stratosphere, the ozone layer contains less part than the 10 parts percent of the ozone, while the average ozone concentration in the Earth's atmosphere as a whole is about 0.3 parts per million. Now, the next layer is the second layer of the Earth's atmosphere, that is known as the stratosphere. The stratosphere. The stratosphere is the second layer of the atmosphere of the Earth, located above the troposphere and below the mesosphere. The stratosphere is an atmospheric layer composed of stratified temperature layers, with the warm layers of the air in the sky and the cool layers of the air in the low sky close to the planetary surface of the earth. The increase of temperature with latitude and altitude is the result of the absorption of the sun's ultraviolet UV radiation by the ozone layer. The temperature inversion is in contrast to the troposphere near the earth's surface, where temperature decreases with altitude. So this was about the troposphere. Now the next we move to the third layer, that is the mesosphere. Yes, as you can see in this picture, the meteorites, the meteors that falls from the galaxies, that meteors falls in this layer, the mesosphere. Now we will study more about the mesosphere. The mesosphere is a layer of the Earth's atmosphere. The mesosphere is directly above the stratosphere and below the thermosphere. It extends from about 50 to 85 kilometers, 31 to 53 miles above our planet. Temperature decreases with height throughout the mesosphere. Means that is, as you go higher, the temperature goes on decreases, like you go to higher altitude. The mesosphere layer protects the Earth from large meteoroids. It's in the mesosphere where it serves as a shield for the meteorites. It serves as a shield means, friends, when the meteors are falling, the meteors are like disappeared in this layer. It controls and protects Earth from the meteor falls that occurs from the galaxy. Therefore, friction in the mesosphere burns up the meteors. Like when the meteor falls, there is a large amount of friction present in the mesosphere which disappears and burns up the meteors. Then they disintegrate into small pieces of dust. After the mesosphere burns the meteors, then they are like transformed into the dust particles. The dust particles in the mesosphere lies between the thermosphere and stratosphere. Meso, the meaning of the word mesosphere means middle, and this is the highest layer of the atmosphere in which the gases are all mixed up rather than being layered by their mass. The mesosphere is 22 miles, that is 35 kilometers thick. This is not the height, friends, this is the thickness, like how broad it is, 22 miles, that is 35 kilometers. So now, friends, we will go to the next layer of the Earth, the fourth layer, that is the thermosphere. Like, friends, you can see in this picture the International Space Station. All the satellites which are launched in this layer, that is the thermosphere. The satellite goes in this layer and they start their signaling. So let's learn in detail. Thermosphere, the layer of very rare air above the mesosphere, is called the thermosphere. High energy X rays and UV radiation from the sun are absorbed in the thermosphere. The UV rays which we receive from the sun, they are also absorbed in this layer, raising its temperature to 100 or at time 1000 of degrees. When these rays are observed, then its temperature goes on rising. Then, however, the air in this layer is so thin that it will feel freezing cold to us. In many ways, the thermosphere is more like outer space than a part of atmosphere. In fact, the approximate boundary between an atmosphere and the outer space is known as the Karman line. So the boundary between the atmosphere and the outer space, one is the inner space and other is the outer space. So there is one boundary between it, and that boundary is known as the Karman line, is in the thermosphere. So that line also lies in this layer, guys, at an altitude about 100 kilometers. Then many satellites actually orbit Earth within the thermosphere. The satellites which are orbiting the Earth lies in this thermosphere. Variation in the amount of the energy coming from the sun exert a powerful influence on both the height of the top of this layer and the temperature within the it. Because of this, the top of the thermosphere can be found anywhere between 500 and 1000 kilometers, 311 to 621 miles above the ground. Temperature in the upper thermosphere can range from about 500 degrees Celsius, that is 932 Fahrenheit, to 2000 degrees Celsius, that is 3632 Fahrenheit or higher. So this was, friends, about the thermosphere layer. Now we will go to the last layer, that is the exosphere. As you can see, its thickness, that is 10,000 kilometer broad. So let's learn about the exosphere in detail. The exosphere, that is the last layer, that is the outermost layer of the atmosphere. Therefore, it is known as the exo. That is, exo means outside and is the same prefix used to describe insects like grasshoppers that have a hard shell or an exoskeleton, that is the outside of the body. The exosphere is the very edge of the atmosphere. This layer separates the rest of the atmosphere from the outer space. So it is a line, it is a separation line between the rest of the atmosphere and the outer space. It is about 6,200 miles, that is 10,000 kilometers thick. That's almost as wide as Earth itself. The exosphere is really big. It is huge. That means that to get outer space, you have to really go very far from Earth. The exosphere has gases like hydrogen and helium, but they are very spread out. There is a lot of empty space in between. There is no air to breathe and it's very cold. In case of the bodies with substantial atmospheres, such as Earth's atmosphere, the exosphere is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere, thins out and merges with outer space. So, students, we have learned about the atmosphere in detail today, and now I end my lecture here. Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can drop your queries in the comment section below. I will answer to you and get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you, friends.